All right, this is Sam Taggart here from SAS Workshops. I've been working on something really cool lately, and I wanted to share it with you all. At GDevCon in A, I gave a presentation on approval testing, and I kind of showed the bare minimum example. But I've been working on some pretty cool extensions to it with Llewellyn. And one of the situations you can run into with legacy code is you have a very complicated VI that you need to simplify, and you don't necessarily know what it does, but you want to make sure that as you're changing the internals, you're not changing the behavior. And so it'd be really nice if you could say for each of the inputs, cycle through these 4 or 5 values and come up with all the possible combinations and just verify that that doesn't change as I'm making the changes to my test. And that's kind of what I've implemented here with this combination style testing. So in this case, I have a VI. In this case, it's a very simple VI. I call it my and, but basically it's just A and B as inputs and A and B as the output. And it's got an and function. Now you can imagine there was a much more complicated function there, and it would work for that as well. And here I've got this map, and it maps each of the control inputs, so A and B, to a set of values. In this case, since they're booleans, there's only 2 values. Right? And this just basically goes through that and turns each of the elements, turns this array into an array of variants. Right? So that lets us account for different types of inputs. It kind of defeats LabVIEW's typing system. So basically what it's going to do is it's going to take A and B, and it's going to set them each to true and false and calculate all the combinations. In this case, there's 4. And then it's going to run our VI for that, and it's going to collect all the outputs into a JSON, inputs and outputs into a JSON file. So if I just run this, I've already approved the outputs. And so we get this. So if I go here, verify and combo is approved. Here it's automatically calculating all of these. So A and B false. A is false, B is true, then A and B is false, etc. And you got your little truth table. Now again, this is a really simple example, but you can imagine doing this with a much more complicated piece of legacy code. And you know, like maybe does some calculation, you could input values like plus minus infinity, not a number, all those things, 0, etc. And you go through a whole range of values. And it's just one test, so it's really quick and easy. Oh, and also, if you look at this, it makes it really easy to verify later because it gives you all the inputs and all the outputs all in one spot. So as an example, if I go change this now, if I change this to OR, right, and now I run my test again, it should fail. And it's set up to launch beyond compare. And so it highlights exactly the rows that have changed. And if I want to approve those changes, all I have to do is click here on these buttons, and it will move the results over to the approved file, and then I save it. And the next time I run the test, it'll pass. So let me just do that just so you can see that work. So if I do that and save that and close this, I should probably rename that VI, but if I run again, hey, now it passed. So that's how that part works. Let me